Welcome. This is Pop On to Pop Off, the aftermath, the devastation of Hurricane Milton. In some cases, it wasn't as bad as they thought it could have been. The surge was not as high. Other places were not so fortunate. It's a Thursday, October the 10th, 2024, as we do this. If you see this at some other time, well, hello, replay crowd. We we are having a normal, nice day here in the Hudson Valley. Fall weather can be great, so we're in the lower 50s right now, and you are reminded that as beautiful as Florida is, and you want to spend uh, part of every year there if you can, there are times when it's very unsafe. I was talking with Richard Lyon a lot last night, decided not to come on because really we had to stay focused on the storm. People had to keep their attention there. Linda Powell, good morning. Well, good morning. I don't get to say that too often unless it's after midnight. Glad you're here. Is Cindy in South Louisiana? Hello, Jack. Linda says, I'm in Melbourne, Florida. Um, God spared Melbourne. Well, that's good news. And that's good news for Lori, our friend, because she has a mobile home there. And they had just come down. They live here in the Hudson Valley predominantly, but they had went down to work on that mobile home. And they left a few days ago. And I think they're in Georgia somewhere. I don't know that they'll be returning to Florida, but my guess is if they can, they will. If you can get to Melbourne. Obviously, if you're in Port St. Lucie, Fort Pierce, Tampa, what have you, that would be another story. They have to, make sure it's safe before they let traffic back in there. But a lot of people stayed. A lot of people stayed. So, Linda, you say that in Melbourne, I think the wind speeds were in the upper 40s, right? Mid 40s to upper 40s for wind speeds in Melbourne, Florida, something like that, or was it a little higher? It was a lot higher in Tampa and, Fort Myers, Florida. Fort Myers always seems to get whacked, but not as serious in all cases. If you look at everything, not as serious as the last storm. But we have Fox weather on right now. And of course, the Tropicana Baseball Stadium, that Tropicana Field where the Rays play, the roof the roof was pretty much ripped off. They didn't make the playoffs, right? Am I right about that? I don't really follow the Rays. But I mean, during regular season, there can be as many as, I don't know, 300 people in that stadium. Unless they make the playoffs, then it's full. Or unless the Yankees are in town, then it's more. But they have never been known for max attendance at Tropicana Field. So they can get that repaired. I don't know what else they do in the off season at Tropicana Field. I know that my time spent in Tampa, the people were driving like they were just out of the insane asylum trying to get away. My daughter got into a car accident there while her ex-boyfriend was driving. And I got that call as she was in the car, one of the most frightening calls I ever got. and she's telling me, that she is bleeding, but it's not too bad, and the ambulance is on the way, and it's some punk 16-year-old that doesn't even have the proper uh, insurance to cover this accident that he has just caused by pulling out in front of them. I can't understand why you would be allowed to carry less insurance than you're going to need if you are in an accident. Anyway, I was divorced by then, but nevertheless, my first wife and I and my son all went down to Tampa, Florida. And when we got there, she was already out of the hospital, but it was so wonderful to see her and spend time with her. We were scared as hell because when you get a call like that, it's frightening, especially when you're 1,000 miles up the road, 1,000 miles up the road. Richard Lyon, Jack, my man, how are you? Richard and I were texting last night. If you want to call in, Richard, you may do so. Um, don't tell us about your sordid past. We wouldn't want to hear about that in the middle of the day. But if you would like to call, you can, or you can just talk here, whatever feels comfortable to you, Richard. But you were hunkered down in West Palm Beach, I believe, and your family was there, and it wasn't too bad there. I don't know what your highest wind speed was, Richard. I don't know. Tell me. Cocoa Beach is only 20 miles north of us, says Linda Powell. That close, huh? They were hit very hard by Milton because there was this tornado factor. There was this tornado factor. Uh, Over a dozen, right? Tornadoes mixing in. So the Spanish Village in Fort Pierce, Florida, right near Port St. Lucie, was, you know, uh, very hard hit. Mobile homes don't stand a chance in that kind of storm when you're in that kind of winds, and then you have to worry about the surge of rain. We have at least 4 deaths in the St. Lucie County area. 4 deaths, and that will probably go up. When they were describing it in real time, I thought, my goodness, it could be a lot more than that. But that's terrible. Those that hunker down in mobile homes, want to uh, you really want to rethink that, because those homes just can't take it. They just can't take it. I love mobile homes, but it just doesn't work. All is okay in West Palm Beach. 56 gusts of winds, 35 sustainable winds. But really, Richard, what's the dew point? It's going to be tropical, isn't it? It's going to go back to being tropical, if not already. All okay, and over 125 homes hit hard. Where you are, or total? I think it's probably more in total, right? So it's one of those things. We have kids playing out in the water, and they're right next to a habitat for alligators. Those parents may want to rethink that. And of course, what about a power line? You just never know if a power line is hot or cold. It's probably cold, but you don't want to take the chance. JCat just wanted to say howdy, Jack. Well, thank you for stopping by. And Helen B, hi, Jack, and everyone. It's just after 11:30 p.m. Thursday in Perth, Australia. Prayers being sent out, and that's a good thing. So, yeah, it is interesting because when I drove down to Port St. Lucie um, last year, I went right by Melbourne, Florida. So yeah, I didn't notice the signs for Cocoa Beach, but um, I know it wasn't that far from Melbourne to Port St. Lucie. It was a ways up the road, but it wasn't. It wasn't on the other side of the state or anything like that. Oh, in St. Um, Lucie County, 125 homes hit hard, right? Yeah. Richard knows that I like to go there for the first Saturday in March, whenever conceivably possible, to go to the Polish Club. So, how is the Polish Club in Port St. Lucie? It's not like what they report here, they haven't talked about the Polish Club yet. And then there's the villages. See, I don't know my geography, but um, the villages is supposed to be one of the most beautiful places in Florida as well. It's for the high price crowd, like where Richard lives. And Jacksonville is not. And they've gotten, quite a bit of water in Jacksonville. Uh, the crime even stopped last night. Hurricane Milton carves path of deadly destruction. Clearwater, Florida was hit as well, one of the most beautiful places in Florida. My ex coworker Maurice lives in Clearwater. I wonder if he evacuated or stayed. Maurice B. I'll say that. I don't want to say his full name, but if you're watching me, Maurice, let me know. He builds homes. He builds homes. He was one of the breakout stars of Camp LaGuardia. Um, Fellow officer with me at Camp LaGuardia for a lot of years. And who knew this guy was going to become a multimillionaire? I mean, he had a wherewithal that he was somewhat soft spoken, tough guy, big arms. You wouldn't mess with him, but a nice guy. And I had no idea that he had a plan to become very successful. And it was not that many years ago when I saw him down at the ShopRite on Dolson Avenue, and he told me he was moving to Clearwater and was going to build homes down there like he had built homes and bought homes and rented them here. So, very, very impressive. Very, very impressive. Um, I'm watching them rescue people from the flooded area, says Cindy, on the news right now. One of the areas that flooded wasn't even under evacuation because they didn't expect it to flood there. Yeah, that happens. That happens. So I finally got to, Richard gave me the recommendation to watch Ryan Hall, y'all, on YouTube, and I did that last night. Ryan was dealing with a cold and running out of gas, running out of voice, but he stayed on till a little after 11 o'clock East Coast time. And by the way, we have 14 watching now, 2 likes. Yes, please hit the like button. Please hit the notification bell. Most of you here have the notification bell on. Henry A. Bradley is usually Shirley. Hey, Jack. Well, hello, hello, hello. We don't usually pop on in the late morning where I am, but what we did, and we're planning on being on tonight at 11 o'clock East Coast time for Worldwide Ramblings. Don't think I'm going to do a Saturday show this week. We've got a couple of things on the agenda for Saturday back to back. So I'm thinking Sunday night at 8:30 East Coast time, while Karen is watching 90 Day Fiasco. Um, they could call that show Basket of Deplorables. Yeah, Hillary's Hillary's idea of a deplorable is incorrect in my humble opinion. If she wants to see a deplorable, she just has to look in the mirror. Just look in the freaking mirror, lady. Okay. Governor Ron DeSantis doing his usual wonderful job from what I can see, Richard, putting Kamala Harris in her place. She tried to get in her place as she tried to get in on the action like she's really involved. She's doing her rallies and trying to fool people all over America, well, mostly in the battleground states. And Joe Biden, what he does is he takes an obscure website that reports misinformation about what Trump is saying about FEMA. Uh, and many people were on there testifying that they applied for the 750 and were told no. Many were told I was watching them on the TV. I'm not making this up. Oh, we asked for the 300 if you're able to even have service to apply, that kind of thing. And they said, well, they gave us 300. And there have been reports. In fact, Mayorkas himself said that FEMA doesn't have enough money for this storm surge this year. They're running out of money, and we know they've gave millions and millions and millions of dollars. So we're not. You can kind of figure it out, can't you? You can't figure it out when they give 200 billion to the Ukraine. Maybe it should have been spent here in the United States. What the hell are we doing now? How much are we giving to Lebanon? Kamala Harris proudly announces how much we're giving to Lebanon. The inmates are running the asylum. Richard, you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go into. Well, we'll put you on full-time duty, and you'll have to write some letters or something. I'm not advocating anything violent. Yeah, that was the deal. So I just can't wait for this thing to be over at this point. But now I'm so worried about polling places that have been flooded out. If you've just lost your home, you're probably not in the mood to vote. You know, at the polls. North Carolina is under major trouble. People say we wait for days and days and days and haven't seen anybody from FEMA. They're saying it on the television. We're not manufacturing it. When Joseph R. Biden, one of the meanest people I've ever seen, I can't believe how wrong I was about this guy. If you would ask me 20 years ago, I would have said, oh, he's not too bright, but he's middle class Joe. He's riding the Amtrak. Man, was I wrong about that guy. I've been wrong about a few people. Meacham. I have a video up on John Meacham here. I used to think he was a smart man. Not anymore. Not anymore. Howard Stern, has gone batshit crazy. He's just forget about it. Forget about it. As Sean Hannity says, if Howard Stern is telling you're stupid if you're not voting for Kamala Harris, why would you ever listen to Howard Stern again? Why would you ever listen to someone who thinks you're stupid? This is a guy who hungered down in West Palm Beach for 3 years and never left the house because he was so afraid of COVID. I mean, Howard is a great interviewer, and he got away from all the constant, mother and daughter kissing stuff and all that stuff he used to do. And of course, it was on video too. He kind of got into, some really good interviews with famous people and had Donald Trump on a ton of times and was super nice to him. But he has gone loco in the noggin. The noggin is malfunctioning, Richard. When I say the wrong thing, Richard will probably highlight highlight it. I didn't say anything wrong. I quickly made sure when I clarified what I was saying. People need to be aware of how important November 5th is. I watched Reed Timmer chase the hurricane. Did you? Live all day and all night yesterday. Yeah, those guys are amazing, aren't they? So I did get my first look at Ryan Hall, y'all. He was very good. Obviously, he didn't have a lot of reporters that would be full screen on the ground. So I went back and forth between that and Fox Weather. Then I tuned to Tampa Fox 13 in Tampa, and they were very good. They had some stuff other people didn't have, so it gave me somewhat of a perspective. Somewhat of a perspective. We're up to 20 now. We're not gonna break the bank with that one. We're not, Um, let me say something for the regular people. I'm fighting here. This is a time of fighting, not fighting to overcome somebody else, but fighting to keep this a valid channel. You know, Richard, your JFK show, and you liked it. It didn't even get 600 views, So I'll leave JFK Jr. and to somebody else who would do it better, who's been doing it from the heart and really is involved in it. But that's the thing, I've got strong competition right now, and making a life's career out of this, loading a video 2 or 3 hours and putting their name on other people's work, just taking it. So it's tough right now, and you know, I need this to be successful. I need this to be successful. It's just the way it is. Um, there was a significant drop last month, and this month, we're still early, but we've got to, we've got to fight hard. But I've been doing this story for 6.5 years on Pastor Bob Joyce. I got more to say on the Lisa Marie Presley revelations in there. That'll be in a pre-recorded video. Shouldn't even say that, right? Shouldn't even tip my hand, but that's coming up really soon. So yeah, I will I will give it my best. And if it doesn't work, Richard, you'll find me being a greeter at Walmart because, you know, it's not an option. It's not an option for me to meet a certain bottom line. Otherwise, I'll be at the Walmart, but it'll be, living in my car in a parking lot. You pay paradise, put up a parking lot. So, anything else going on, folks? It's kind of slowed down to a nothing here. But I just wanted to pop on and tell you that we will be live for Worldwide Ramblings tonight at 11 o'clock East Coast time. Worldwide Ramblings with reaction to not only the storm, but reaction to the Lisa Marie Presley book. I'm just going off of excerpts. I read some more. And, there's some things to say there. So please support it. Please share it. And, I know many of these guys are also on multiple platforms. That's another thing. They're on multiple platforms. Where to retire anymore, says Scott Baker. I think, there's something to be said about never dismiss Florida, but I don't think I would want to live there full time. And the storms are getting more frequent. What was this, 5 or 6 that they've had so far in this hurricane season? This being the worst, but Helene was terrible as well. And there's a few that didn't make it in, like Isaac and what have you. J and K didn't make it in either, I guess. So that was good. But it is dangerous. But they have beautiful motels and hotels in Florida, and those Red Roof Inns aren't too bad if you're on a very fixed budget. I'll give them a little plug. So the snowbirds have it right, except I'm wondering if more and more snowbirds just do a Airbnb, or they they don't stay in one place in Florida. They may be in St. Petersburg, then they go somewhere else and what have you. Then they go up to Maine in the summer where it's nice and cool. New York can be beautiful. May and June, especially June into July, was fantastic here. Magical. When the flowers start coming up in May, it's beautiful. There were some beautiful days in May. There were some chilly days in May. You just can't predict it anymore. You just can't predict it. Well, then there's another magical topic, Richard. You can say talk about other things, but it's got to be people like shock and awe. They like shock and awe. So then there'll be a segment of my audience will say, "Oh, what are you talking about that for?" First Corinthians says, so I'll get lambasted from that side and what have you. I've got to have better tech. I need a virtual tech guy is what I need too. I'm willing to fight for the channel, but you know, it is tough when you have been doing something for 6.5 years. This story continues to grow itself, but I'll tell you, you can't look at the things that don't help your argument either. You mean to tell me for 3 years this Michael Edwards molested Lisa Marie and Elvis Presley was still alive? Come on, that's getting hard to believe, isn't it? It's getting hard to believe. So then we have the most amazing story ever. If he wasn't alive, and I'm not saying he wasn't, we have the most amazing story ever. We have a guy in Arkansas that is a near clone of this man. Now, you don't want to entertain the son because the scars and the broken pinky, the veins, I get it, but it's just freaking weird. It's just freaking weird. In 3 years, Lisa Marie would not say, "Daddy, this guy came into my bed last night and touched me inappropriately, and then he began to spank me." Come on, come on. It doesn't make a lick of sense. It doesn't make a lick of sense, Richard. uh, Plenty of shock and awe to totally ruin my reputation. I'm gonna have Jessica Hahn on for an interview. I don't know if I'll do that great. No, I'm gonna have to have Stormy on. How perfect to have Stormy on, especially if there's a storm going on. Linda Powell, I heard that even if they get the 750, it's a loan, not a gift. And what the hell is 750? You know, really. Really? But when you send over $200 billion to the Ukraine under the illusion that you could actually win a war against Vladimir Putin, when your son was on the payroll there and on the payroll in China, this is all documented facts. No hyperbole here. No hyperbole here, Scott Baker. My answer to where to retire, Scott, is have a small, inexpensive place where you love that is not in the hurricane zone, but don't ever stay away from beautiful Florida. It's magical. It's especially magical when it's not 110 degrees or when it's September, October, that kind of thing, and you could be blown right through Richard's living room window. So we're so sorry for the devastation in Port St. Lucie and Fort Pierce. Those are places that I have driven through. I was riding around Fort Pierce when I was down there for the Jimmy Sturr concert. Jimmy Sturr flies in to the Fort Pierce airport when he's going to do the Florida gig. He ain't taking no tour bus 1,000 miles down the road. The tour bus has to come, but he ain't gonna be on it. He's gonna fly in and out. You know what I'm saying? And a number of the band members do. A number of the band members do. So since there's that empty tour bus, half empty, maybe I could be, I could be on it. We'll see. We'll see. I'm always thinking ways to save money because I don't have that much, really. Trying to hold on to a good credit rating. I told you last night, if you investigate what I said, OMG, it will make you sick, but needs investigating. You are the man for that. Oh dear, who's calling me now? Healthcare. That's Middletown Medical. So I can't take that call now. It's probably about the blood pressure monitor that's right here. Right here. My blood pressure monitor. They are able to, I take my blood pressure and they can see the readings down there. So they just call. I can't put them live on the air. If it would have been Richard, but he's too afraid to pick up the phone now. So I guess it won't be Richard. But if you are in Florida, watching me right now, just got a few minutes left on our pop on to pop off, unless it gets real good in a hurry. um, Email me at Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, Jack the Fair Guy, Fair Guy, Guy, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. And if you'd like to talk live on the air, and maybe we can make that happen. Okay, maybe we can make that happen. Grandma Becky joins us. I watched Connor Croft and Freddie McKinney, Storm Chasers. Love these guys, but when they team up, it's even better. I see. Yeah. Huh. Um. So Hurricane Milton's deadly onslaught, drinking water cut off or limited by the storm. I wouldn't want to be drinking that water. Hopefully, those people got bottled water, but there was obviously a rush on all items, all important items. And it was wild, it was wild. Semi joins the mix. Let me see about the email here. Okay, nothing there to note. So, yeah, that's the plan. What we're going to do, 11 o'clock tonight for Worldwide Ramblings. We'll give that a shot and see how it goes. Not going to be on Saturday, our usual time, but perhaps Sunday at 8:30 for an hour and a half. Sunday at 8:30 while Karen is watching that awful 90-day fiasco. Can't. She puts her headphones on for that. God bless her. I'm usually, if I'm downstairs, I'm watching Mark Levin. He's been back on, and that's good news. So it's going to be interesting about polling places and then people's desire to vote and what have you. This is just one of those things. I watch as little. I have no desire to hear one syllable that Jessica Tarlov has to say on the five. I like Harold. I'm surprised a smart man like him would be for Kamala Harris. I like Harold Ford. He presents his viewpoints without you know uh, making you feel like he's a dumbass. And I can just tell the tension when Jessica is talking. I just can tell you that Greg Gutfeld is that close to telling her exactly how he feels about her, and I don't think that's how he feels about her as a person. He feels about her as a public personality. I think he's able to divide the two. But when these guys go out to do a live event, including Jesse Waters, that's all people want to tell him when they're a book signing or something like that. Oh, that Jessica Tarlov, I can't stand her. But they keep her on, and it's not fair and balanced because it's 4 against 1, so you can't really say that. But that Marshall woman and the blonde, what's her name there? I always forget. The blonde progressive. I couldn't care less what they want to say. If I want to hear that fairy tale stuff, I'll go to MSNBC or CNN, which I used to love CNN. Imagine telling well over half the percent of the population in America, you don't give a damn if you don't watch, and that their bosses are okay with that. What is going on here? How are things at Disney, Richard? Did you hear anything? Are you still here? How are things at Disney? They haven't talked about Disney World. I'm sure it will be up and running in the not too distant future. I'm talking about the day-to-day operations at Disney World, Richard. That kind of thing. Disney stock is down. I'll tell you what's not down is DJT Trump stock. I'll tell you what, I mean, it's way down from what it was when it opened, but it's on the rise. Let me take a look here. Not too bad, not too bad. Donald John Trump stock at $23.95 a share. It was $20 a share not too long ago, a number of hours ago. So, I'm not giving you any stock information. I'm just telling you, I'm not giving you any recommendations because it could nosedive. I'm telling you, you never know anymore. But yeah, baby, that's helping. That's helping. After really causing me severe pain, it's helping me right now. So we'll have a number of things tonight. And I cut off CNN. Never again will I watch. The only time I will watch is when there is a major news story, and that would tend to be late at night. I can't take the evening hosts, none of them. Aaron Burnett. I used to love Aaron Burnett. Who wouldn't love Aaron Burnett? She embraced the woke cause. You can see the look on her face when she's got somebody like Vivek Ramaswamy or Tom Cotton, Senator Tom Cotton. She hates it when they're saying truth about the progressive side. Yet she has young children. What's going to be like? What kind of world are they going to live in? I mean, you think about it, 30 years down the road, what kind of world is Keith Richards going to live in? Think about it. For goodness sakes, Richard. I'm not. I was only asking Richard a very specific question about Disneyland. I obviously we canceled Hulu. Because they are Disney. They're owned by Disney, and when you get the package now, it's both Disney and, of course, Hulu. So the other stuff, you'd have to send me some major verification. I can say that Bigfoot is in Times Square right now, but you're going to have to show me proof, because that's a new one for me, Richard, what we were talking about last night. That's a new one for me. It's not just a matter that you believe it. It's a matter of, and here's the sustaining information to back it up. There probably, God knows there probably is a channel that's talking about what you were talking about. But I don't know. I'm not saying I wouldn't look into it. I'm not saying that, Richard. Don't get your feathers ruffled. Comb your feathers down, Richard. Comb your feathers down. Maybe use a little mousse on your feathers. I'm not ruling it out. I'm not. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you talk about these things because But then again, those conspiracy theorists seem to do pretty well, don't they? Till you get to the Alex Jones level and you start saying the kids were actors at Sandy Hook and what they rushed in and took all his studio equipment and stuff like that. Now he can always find a place to broadcast. I'm watching a what do you call those? A doodle? Those dogs, golden doodle or something walking by. I've got more light on me, but not the strong light. So you can see that one of my cheeks is illuminated. That's the cheek that is facing the open. I have so many pictures and things like that. And of course, I don't want to keep things open at night. But do I use a shade over there? No, I use pictures. I use pictures and important Jimmy Stir flyers and Dr. Naidu's book. Dr. Naidu's flyer for his book, Lindsay's Big House. If you know anyone who has cardiomyopathy, you'll want to get a copy of Lindsay's Big Heart on Amazon, #1 bestseller, and written with Lindsay Davis. And I'll be seeing Dr. Naidu probably on Black Friday, if he's there, because that's when my next test is. See, I feel kind of glued to New York because of that too. Every 3 months now, I know, but they're not going to be doing any echocardiograms in certain spots of Florida today, are they? No. Richard, when God made you, he broke the mold. He broke the mold. I'm not talking about the mold that'll probably be on many people's houses down there. You know how I feel about Disney World. Well, I just say that if you're, if you're going to put sexual woke content, sneaking it into kids' programming, then no wonder your stock is down. And yeah, today, if I were a parent, as I am a parent, but if I had young kids, like back in the day when we did go to Disney World, I wouldn't go there. I'd go somewhere else. I'd go somewhere else. And a lot of people are. When you give the middle finger to about 80 million people, it's not exactly a good business decision. But apparently, Mr. Igor over there at Disney World just doesn't care. It's just like, oh, the people at Target, I made a promise and I said it live on the air. I will never physically walk into a Target again in my life. There's a part of our mall where you can park in the back and you can go through the very front of Target from the Galleria and go to the parking lot there. I won't even do that. I won't go into a Target. You have no apologies for glorifying the sexualization of kids, putting up all your pride stuff for children to wear, and all your political agenda. Oh, well, we're going to do this. You can do this, but you've lost what? How much money have you lost, Target? So there's a price to pay when you give the middle finger to more than half the country. More than half the country. Okay, Richard. All I know is that the competition is stiff, and I'm counting on my loyal audience. I'm not going to put up other people's work and put in its entirety and put my name on it. Eventually, that's going to bite you right in the bottom, because people will copyright strike. Others are just happy that you're sharing their work. It's the old motto. There's no such thing as bad publicity, but that's not true. That's not true. There is such a thing as bad publicity. So that's where we are. 11 o'clock tonight for worldwide ramblings. 11 o'clock East Coast time and probably 8:30 Sunday night. No Saturday night. We've got a video coming up, a short one on Lisa Marie Presley. Please watch and share and why not have a chocolate eclair? I mean, throw caution to the wind, throw caution to the wind. Have a nice spot of British blend Tetley tea, I would recommend. Lipton's fine too. So thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you tonight at 11 o'clock East Coast time. Richard, get to work, will you? Bye-bye for now.